Joining me is Chief Investment Officer at the Motley Fool, Scott Phillips. Scott, good to see you again. So business groups they're urging the coalition to just be careful here and maybe not walk away from that 2030 target of 43% reduction, because it could really hurt investor confidence. What's the damage, do you think, that could be done if Australia does walk away from those short-term goals?
Kenny, good morning. Look, yeah, that's a really big question, mate, with a big range of answers. I think the first thing, in terms of the damage that could be caused, business wants certainty for investment. At the end of the day, we've extended the life of a New South Wales coal-fired plant recently, for example, because there wasn't sufficient alternative energy generation available. Why not? Largely because governments of state and federal, on both sides of the aisle over the last 20, 30 years, 40 years maybe, have refused to have a bipartisan approach to energy policy. And therefore, no one's prepared to put billions of dollars on the line, hoping to get an economic return, whether it is renewables, nuclear, coal, pick your thermal gas, choose your source. Until you know the policy, certainly until you know the framework, and you have confidence, this is the key one, they have confidence that future governments won't just simply change the playing field. That's the challenge. And that's where business groups, the Business Council of Australia, industry group have come out and said, basically, hey, guys, we'd really like you to agree on something so we can continue to invest. My sense is these groups may not necessarily love either of the two policies, but at the moment they're kind of trying to live in the land of the real, the land of the possible, and say, guys, I get there's some argument here, I get this political heat, but we really, really need investment security, investment certainty, so we can go and put that money down. We'll put it wherever we can get a return for it. You guys tell us what the playing field looks like, and we'll go and play the game. Just don't keep changing the rules. That's the big one here. The Business Council of Australia is saying, look, we believe in net zero. We want to get to net zero. This doesn't get us there. Australian Industry Group, a little more circumspect, saying, look, the short-term goals might be unreachable. They might be too hard, but we still need to know where we're going and by when so we can make that investment.
And also, the Labor government is also considering locking in 2035 targets. It could be between 65 or 75 emission reductions. And according to the article in the Fin Review, business groups are also warning Anthony Albanese to lock in something sensible that can be achievable. So why do you think there's such a concern over meeting a 2035 target at this point?
Correct. And I think that's the challenge. Look, if you're in business, what you want is obviously cheap, reliable power. Individually, you probably want to make sure the climate's looked after as well. But that combination, that tension is really what they're talking about here. And if we aren't going to achieve those targets, committing to a range of actions that don't get us there and potentially make us less competitive globally and locally is not going to be helpful for the Australian economy. So business trying to run that pragmatic line of, look, we get it. We know it's important. We know we need to get there. We'll get there. But if the target's unreachable, then firstly, we'll fail to meet them anyway. Secondly, we may make decisions. We may make investments or not make investments on the basis of that outcome that, if it doesn't come to fruition, may well have been wasted money, either money spent, not returned, or money not invested that could have otherwise got a return. That's the key challenge, I think, for business and for government and the opposition as well, is trying to make sure we can get somewhere reasonable and achievable in the quickest possible way. We all want to make sure we don't cause more damage to the environment, but doing it in a way that makes sense for both the environment and for business, and in a really clear way with those timelines, as you say, a reasonable timeline that is reachable. That's kind of what business, particularly, as I said, AIG is calling for.
Well, makes sense. Scott Phillips, thanks so much.